The standard Islamic narrative has long been that the Quran has been perfectly preserved without variation. However, when pressed by Mohammed Hijab, Dr. Yasser Kabi admits that Islam's claims about the Quran cannot easily be reconciled with actual historic evidence. So serious is this issue, Islamic teachers and scholars have been hiding the truth from the average Muslim for centuries.
What is your position in relation to preservation of Quran? Do you see it as preserved, munazzal from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Every single student of knowledge knows, who studies ulum al-Quran, that the most difficult topics are ahruf and qira'at, and the concept of ahruf and the reality of ahruf, and the relationship of the Uthmanic Mus'haf with the ahruf, and the preservation of the ahruf. Is it 1, is it 3, is it 7? And the relationship of the qira'at to the ahruf.
Yasser Kabi admits from the outset that the issue of preservation is entangled with the problem of ahruf and qira'at. Traditional discourse often sidesteps this complexity, but Western scholarship has long treated it as a central difficulty undermining the claims of preservation.
When you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. And this isn't new. This is from the time of the Sahaba. This is not a joke, brothers and sisters. The issue of ahruf and qira'at caused confusion to somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ said, if you want to listen to the Quran directly, listen to Ubay. Ubay is not some even average Sahabi. He is the Qari of the Quran. The most advanced of our scholars, they're not quite fully certain how to solve all of the unanswered questions in there. Ibn al-Jazari, who without a doubt is the greatest scholar of qira'at for the last 1,000 years. Ibn al-Jazari famously writes, I've been thinking and pondering about the issue of the ahruf and qira'at for over 35 years.
Even the most learned Muslim scholars struggle to reconcile these internal contradictions.
Traditional understandings of ahruf and qira'at cannot answer some of these pressing questions that are now being poked. In a Muslim environment, there's always some respect that we have for the Quran. We should. In a Muslim environment, we'll press a little bit and then we'll say, okay, khalas, sami'na wa ata'na. When you go to academia, they don't have that red line. And they're going to just, you know, the famous story of the emperor with no clothes. They're going to just point out, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not true, and this and that. And they'll bring issues, which I'm not going to mention explicitly, that you know are true because they're in your own books. They're not inventing anything new.
Muslim teachers have long been suppressing the truth and deflecting destabilizing questions around the topic of preservation, whereas now critical scholarship insists on confronting them. And with the rise of social media, all of this information that flows from Western academia is now available to the masses. The genie is out of the bottle.
It's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it.
Yasser Qadhi's admission that the standard narrative has holes in it is very telling, and him further stating that the problem with preservation should not be discussed in public or with lay audiences exposes the hypocrisy of Islam.
You will not find one lecture of mine about this issue. It should never be brought up in public. This is not something you discuss amongst the masses, ya akhi. It's not wise. You don't understand qira'at, let it be.
Let me ask you one question to try and make this as specific as possible, I think. If I were to give you a blank mushaf, yeah, and tell you to write what is munazzal verbatim from Allah into that mushaf with no human interference, would you write something which corresponds?
It's not an easy answer. It's not an easy yes or no.
The way Mohammed Hijab frames the question and Yasser Qadhi's hesitation to answer reveals the impossibility of reconciling history with Islamic dogma.
It is enough for the Muslim to believe that the
I think
Quran
this should be an easy yes or no, though.
It is kalamullah. It
But what would you write?
You're pushing me.
I know this is, I don't want to make it uncomfortable, but it's just, if someone gave you a Quran which is empty in terms of there's nothing on it, and gave you a pen, would what you write in that mushaf correspond with anything that we have?
We're going to have the Quran there, but which qira'ah will it be in? It'll be probably a mixture, right? It's not going to be necessarily... Yeah, okay, so let's leave it at that then. It's not going to be the exact Hafs and Asim bi riwayati fulan or Shu'ba. This is something that is coming at a later stage, okay?
Okay.
The codification of the qira'at is coming in the 2nd, 3rd century. Obviously, if we were to present, yani,
empty mushaf.
You could. So the issue comes. There's a problem. The problem is very simple. Yani, are you certain that that's the way that it was in early Medina?
Are you certain that that's the way it was in early Medina? That says it all, really. The ramifications of this are profound.